Okay, Ms. Dalby, come on up. Diane Dalby, 3A0559575. This is on for a contested hearing. How are you, ma'am?
Great, how are you, sir?
Yeah, come on up. Ma'am, I've got to ask you, you look super familiar to me. Have I by any chance, did I represent you in Skagit County ever?
Probably. You from Skagit County?
That's where I practiced before I came up here.
Oh, wow, you don't even look old enough to be a judge. Or
Do I look...
like,
I guess all I will say for the record then, Mr. Majumdar, is there's a possibility I've represented Ms. Dalby before. Does the city have any objection to me hearing this here today?
I'm from Skagit.
We have no objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's clear on the record. All right. So, ma'am.
Can I sit down?
Of course you can sit down. Yes.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to talking.
That's
to a
okay.
judge.
So the way this works, ma'am, is the city has to put on their evidence first, and then you'll get an opportunity to put on or present whatever evidence you wish to.
Yes.
The city has to prove the infraction by a preponderance of the evidence, which means more likely than not that it's been committed. And then after hearing the evidence, both parties will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. And then after that, the court will, of course, review the statute and make a ruling based on the facts that were presented here today.
Fantastic.
Does that all make sense, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And boy, there's a big courtroom for very few people.
Yeah, we usually use the upstairs courtroom, but we had a different court proceeding going up there right now. So,
Well, thank you for taking the time to see me. I really do. I know.
you are very welcome. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Majumdar. It is the city's burden, so go ahead with your case, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay.
I left my file at home. Can you believe it, with all the pictures?
Thank you, Your Honor. Rajiv Majumdar, Special Prosecutor for the City of Bellingham. We're here in a court of limited jurisdiction under the infraction rules. The government courts of limited jurisdiction, abbreviated as the IRLJs, promulgated by our Washington Supreme Court. The reason I narrate that is there are some important exceptions. This is a civil matter, and there's a number of important exceptions to the general rules of evidence, the ERs promulgated by the Washington Supreme Court, that flow from that. The most important of those being that a citation and report issued by the officer under penalty of perjury can be introduced as evidence in lieu of live testimony where the respondent has not subpoenaed the officer. In this case, no officer has been subpoenaed, and to that end, I'm seeking to introduce as evidence a copy of the citation and police report of Officer Jobandeep Dillon of the Bellingham Police Department, which consists of citation, 2 pages of narrative, 2 pages of CAD report, and importantly, a police traffic collision report. The significance of my evidence in a diagram. The significance of my evidence is it'll show a specific time and place locating inside the city limits of Bellingham, and it includes a hearsay statement against interest by the respondent advising that she had been waved on by another truck and crossed without checking herself, which gave her a blind spot and caused her to miss the car, making her at fault in this situation, Your Honor. She's been cited with improper turn under RCW as adopted by Bellingham Municipal Court. I'm going to hand to Ms. Dalby the copy of the evidence. I'd like the clerk to mark, and then I'm going to ask to be admitted.
All right, thank you, counsel. So, Ms. Dalby, you can, of course, take a minute to review that. The city's moving to admit those written reports under the infraction rule 3.3c. Is there any objection to their admittance here today?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, they will be admitted. Plaintiff's Exhibit A. And once you're done looking at them, Ms. Dalby, I'll have to take a look at them as well. But take your time.
Thank you. At least I remembered my glasses. Thank gosh. Goodness. Is it okay if I write on this?
Oh, no, please.
No,
Okay.
that's going to be submitted to the court.
Okay, I'm almost done, almost. I'm going to use my piece of paper then. really just to do something. I'm not gonna touch the paper. Just for my notes, because I forgot my notes, I'm sorry. I'll be really quick.
Is your photocopier working out in front?
That's all right, I get a nice little piece of paper. It doesn't really. Let's see, 1 second. I'm not a very good artist. How many lanes is there? There's one, there's a yield lane? Okay.
Okay. All right, we can make copies for you then, ma'am.
Oh, okay, would you mind? That's
That-
very
I can
kind
take
of
this
you.
up there.
Thank you so
That
much.
way I'll take a look at it as
I
well
will.
with the original
Thank
and you can
I
have
don't
the
mean
copy.
to be burdening anyone.
Make
Sorry
sure all
about
the
that.
pages are in the
Thank
correct
you.
order for you, Your Honor.
All right, well, while we're waiting for that, thank you, Madam Clerk, for doing that. Was there anything else, Mr. Majumdar, from the city as evidence?
No, Your Honor, we're going to rest our case on that evidence. Thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Dalby, it's now your opportunity to provide evidence. Do you have any documents you'd like to provide, or are you going to be just giving testimony today?
Testimony for now. I had a big stack of it. You guys would probably be glad that I forgot my file.
Okay, if you could please raise your right hand for me. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you.
and counsel, is the city again fine with a narrative here?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Dalby, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. The only thing I can really do is show you the pictures on my phone, but I don't know if I can do that legally, to bring those up there or not. But I know that, okay, so I just want to see, when I got hit by the car, I wasn't, I was on the ground, I wasn't coherent. My mouth's really dry for some reason. I wasn't coherent and I wasn't thinking clearly when I, landed
want
on
some
the
water?
ground. Oh, can I have water?
Yeah.
They said I couldn't have any. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. It's a little nervous. Okay, so a lot actually. So so there's Northwest and then there's Bakerview. So I got off the bus across the street from where this happened, going the opposite direction with my bicycle.
Okay.
And first thing that's ironic, I have to say, is 15 minutes before this happened, I happened to be at the dentist's office, and the left side of my face was totally numb. They shot me up with Novocaine on the left side of my face, and that's where I fell, on my face. Isn't that incredible? So anyway, I landed right on my left side of my face. You'll see all the bruising, the purple, all the way. I still have a black eye from it, and some facial damage. But so I got off the bus and I went across the street. Now, come to find out, I didn't realize this till later, and this is what I was thinking at the time. There's a bicycle lane on Northwest in Bakerview. So there's 2 lanes, and then there's a bicycle lane, and then there's the yield lane. Okay, and that's not even showing in the document there. You know what I mean? And
By yield lane, do you mean it's essentially a turn lane where you have to yield to the traffic?
yeah,
to
the
make a
yield
view?
lane, okay, so there's 2 lanes. There's the one's going straight through the light that uses the light, and then the yield lane has no light, going to the right, going on to Bakerview. So you're going across the street, Northwest, going through Bakerview. The cars were stopped at the red light at the time. I was on the sidewalk and I looked over and coming across the street from the bus after getting my bicycle, and there was no cars coming this way and no cars going that way, and I looked both ways. The light was red, and then I looked at the truck driver there, who was in the middle lane and he was in the, okay, so then he was, I guess he was turning left, I'm not sure. But so there's the middle lane, and then there's 2 lanes and then the yield lane, I believe. So he was in the middle lane, I believe. And so he waved me across because he didn't see anyone either. We both looked both ways. And I was going to get into the bicycle lane because I was trying to head that way because I live on Pickett Road, which is 2 couple blocks. Just, let me do my directions here. West, east, north of there. So it was north of Northwest and Bakerview, going past the Plasma Center. To the next light was Pickett Lane where I live. So I was turning around to go that way in, trying to get into the bicycle lane, okay? And then of this I realized till later because I was out of it, And I felt so bad at the time. I always think everything's my fault, So I'm going this way, and the guy waves me to come across the street, and we both look both ways, you know, because like if I, you know, it was just convenient. There was no traffic going either direction. We didn't see any car coming from the yield. And so I go to turn around to go into the straight into the yield lane. I mean into the bicycle lane, which is in between the yield lane and the two lanes on Northwest, going north. So I turn, and then she hit my tire, and I guess I flew up in the air and landed on my face. I don't recall anything because I was out of it, you know what I mean? And so, but I look back and I studied it and everything, and even in the hospital later when I came back to life, I realized, you know, I don't think that was my fault at all, because she went into my bicycle lane a little bit and she hit my tire, and I had every right to be in the bicycle lane, I believe. You know, I know, you know, when you're like in different places, you don't walk down to the crosswalk if, like, say your mailbox is a mile from the crosswalk in country roads or whatever, or down the street there's a mailbox that's across the street, and they look both ways to go across to get their mail, you know. And so that's what I was doing. There wasn't anybody or anything going except for that truck. And so I go to turn in and that's when that happened, and I land on the ground. I thought I broke my leg, I thought I broke my arm, my neck, all this stuff, just to find out, you know, I just landed on my face, and all I did was kill my face, and my eye was deep purple, and my neck was bruised too. And I was like, I've still got a bruised eye, a little bit of makeup, my face is kind of messed up still. And I just don't feel like it was my fault at all, because, is there a camera that we can watch? That's the key there. So of course I'm yelling, it's my fault, you know. I don't even know why, because I was on the ground thinking, and this witness that said he was a witness, he couldn't have seen anything because the big truck was there, you know, and he was behind it about 2 cars down, you know, and everybody's excited, wanting to, you know, get involved. I'm sure if I would have said it was her fault, he would have said that it was her fault, you know, because of the excitement. I'm not trying to point it at her, but I just don't feel I should get a ticket because I don't believe it was my fault because of the bike lane. And nobody acknowledged the bike lane or anything. They had its own separate lane in between the yield lane and the straight cars going through the stoplight.
Okay.
Red flashing light. That's not a stoplight.
Yeah.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. Dalby.
Yes, you're welcome.
Is
sir.
there any cross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there any more evidence you'd like to present, ma'am?
I don't know if you want to see the pictures of me.
Well, I
really
can't give you any
amazing how
advice how
bad.
to put on your case, ma'am.
Is that okay if I show you?
I can't.
We're going to object on grounds of relevance, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, you see how bad my face was. It was horrible, and I was like, I did. I guess I got a mild concussion. So, one more thing. The officer comes to the hospital to interview me while I'm on Dilaudid. So I'm like, of course I'm gonna, you know. And the lady was crying when she came out of the car. I felt so bad, you know. It's like, I'm always like that, you know. I'm always like, you know, I didn't want her to feel bad and stuff. And I'm not trying to get her in trouble or anything at all. I just don't believe I did anything wrong, you know, at all. And I shouldn't have got that ticket. And I know if I would have said it wasn't my fault, everyone would have believed me because of where you know, because of the bike lane right there. I didn't even realize about the bike lane because I was trying to go through the light with the cars because I'm a bicycle and I'm like a car, you know, driving in their lane. And we had our own lane, the bicycle did, going through the light on the right side of that truck that I was trying to get into, you know, and going straight. I was just trying to obey it like the bicycles do because I was riding my bike for a couple months there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I haven't ridden my bike since that, only once, you know.
Yeah.
But I really liked riding my bike too. It's kind of, and I
Okay.
just got my helmet, so I was so lucky. Just like, I mean, I don't know how I didn't break my neck or anything. I don't know. But I think it's because I take 1,200 milligrams of calcium every day. I don't know. It's crazy. I should have got hurt worse, and I didn't. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Are you resting your case at this point then?
Thank you for listening. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You'll get another chance to speak here before this wraps up. But at this point, it sounds like there's no more evidence to be presented here. So, Mr. Majumdar, go ahead with the city's closing argument.
Yeah, that is correct, Your Honor. The respondent admittedly has both very clear and lack of memory about the issue from the time the forensic and third-party witness and admissions against interest, I think, go to the weight of more likely than not. It's the city's burden to prove more likely than not. We feel, based on the evidence, we've met that standard, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Majumdar. Ms. Dalby, you do have an opportunity to make a closing statement, so if there's anything else you want me to know, now is the time.
I don't think in any of the diagrams the bike lane's shown.
What's that?
None of the diagrams have the bicycle lane shown.
Okay.
Because it's a whole separate lane.
Okay.
You know what they look like, right?
Yeah, I know exactly where it is, so I know.
I didn't even realize, that has its own separate lane completely.
Okay.
And nobody even brought it up or noticed it, I don't think.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am, before I go ahead and make a ruling?
Well, a lot of excitement, and at the time, I just was being a big baby in the beginning, thinking I was dying, and I didn't want anyone to feel bad. And I felt guilty. I don't know,
Okay.
but it was so traumatic, kind of, sort of. I'm okay now, But
Glad to
it
hear
just
you are
felt,
okay.
like, really traumatic at the time, and I just wasn't reacting like I should. I should take, totally when I thought about it later,
Okay.
I truly don't believe it was my fault.
All right, I'm going to take just a minute. I'm looking at the statute right now just
Thank
because,
you.
of course, I need to make sure.
Yeah, I think maybe one more thing really quick.
Yeah.
I think she might have been a little swerving and laughing because she was with a young man that she seemed to be, they were happy together, and I think she was paying attention to him and not, she was in a yield lane just zooming.
Okay.
I think when you're in the yield lane, you're supposed to yield no matter what. I don't know. But okay, thanks.
Okay. I am going to be a minute. I want to review the statute, and I'm going to, again, look at the officer's report. So
Thank you very
please
much.
bear with me for a second, Ms. Dalby, and I'll
Yes,
be right
of
back.
course. Thank you.
Mr. Majumdar, I actually do have a question for the city before I make a ruling. Is this the proper statute? This statute reads, all it says is the driver of a vehicle intending to turn shall do so as follows. Right turns, both the approach for a right turn and a right turn shall be made as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway. Does the city have any? I don't see anything in the statute that would.
Could I have the statute, Your Honor?
It's 4661-290.
Did you say 4661?
It's RCW 46.61.290.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at the Elements Council, and unless I'm misreading it, I'm not sure this is the applicable statute.
Yeah, see the diagram here?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. So in this case, we don't believe that the respondent was making a right-hand turn as close as practical to the right-hand curb at the edge of the roadway, but instead crossed over the right lane from the left lane on making the right turn, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me reread this then, because I guess I didn't quite. So, factually, what the city has presented, your argument, counsel, is that Ms. Dalby was in the left lane and cut across traffic, trying to get from the far left lane
To make a right-hand turn, Your Honor.
Just 1 second, ma'am. You can speak again if you want to. I'm just trying to. So the approach for right-hand turn, the right turn shall be made as close as practicable. I don't know if I'm just misinterpreting this differently. It almost seems to me, wouldn't this be like an unsafe lane change? Because this to me is more like, this is the lane sweeping statute. This is like, you're taking a left-hand turn into 2 lanes, you have to turn into the closest lane. But this looks like Miss Dalby was hit when changing lanes from the left lane to the right lane. Is that the same, am I just completely misconstruing this?
Your Honor, I think that the robes you wear flow wisdom up to your head, and I think you're seeing very clearly, and the city will move to dismiss this infraction.
Okay. Is there any objection, ma'am?
Thank you.
No objection, I'm assuming?
Oops. I don't just found, I'm getting my teeth fixed. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, the city's motion will be granted. The infraction is dismissed. So, Ms. Dalby, give me just a
I don't
minute
have
to
to
fill
pay
out
the
that
ticket now?
order.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Yay. I'm so happy, thanks. I don't know why, because of the bike lane, right? Going straight, I don't know.
Do we have a good email from Ms. Dalby? Good. So, Ms. Dalby, our printer unfortunately is still not working. Are you fine if we email you a copy of
Yes,
this?
yes, Your Honor, thank
Okay,
you.
it's been dismissed, ma'am, so you're free to leave. We will email you a copy of it.
And that means I'm not guilty, right?
It has not been found committed. You don't owe anything.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome,
so
ma'am.
happy. I knew, will you tell me why you agreed to that when you send that?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Will, on the paperwork say why you, dismissed it?
It's just going to say the city's motion to dismiss is granted. So the city ultimately moved to dismiss the infraction, and I granted their motion to dismiss it.
And do you know why? I mean, that I got that? I mean, I kind of want to know why.
Well, I can't speak for Mr. Majumdar, frankly. All I can say is that, at least from my perspective, I think that the officer might have cited you with the incorrect infraction.
Okay, thank you.
So, this is just my looking at it. I think that it might have been an improper lane change, is what it should have been cited as, and it was cited under a different statute. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
but that's not speaking for the city. That's just my
Yes,
opinion.
of course. Well, you,
Okay.
thank you. And, can I please get your name again?
Commissioner Henry, Henery is how you spell my last
HEN
name.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Commissioner Nicholas Henry. Last name is Henery.
So you used to be an attorney, huh?
Yes, I practiced down at the Skagit County Public Defender for
You
a
like
number of
Bellingham
years.
better?
I live in Bellingham.
I know, me too. It's so great over
Either
here.
plead the fifth or agree, Your Honor.
Better than Skagit too. I've
We
been down
can
there
go off the
forever.
record. Just FYI, sorry.
Can I